Hi, I'm Ben.
And I'm Rachel.
And this is Esports Unfiltered, where every week we break down the news, stories, and scandals in the esports industry. You know, it's a new year now, and I think this is the best time to talk about what we expect for 2021, because we know last year was a total show, so much happened, and now what's that gonna translate into 2021? So what we're gonna do today is we are going to look at some of the top esports trends for 2021. And we are gonna focus on some of the crazy, the good, the bad, and the ugly that we expect from this coming year. So Rachel, why don't you kick us off?
Well, I think my biggest prediction for this year and the coming years as well is really the start of VR esports scene. We've already seen a couple of games drop this year that fit perfectly into the esports category, namely Population 1. We've already seen some tournaments popping up. There's tournaments on Echo Arena VR as well. So I think VR esports is going to play a big role in the coming years in this industry. It deserves to. I mean, it's not only a mental situation, like you're playing mental games, but you're playing a physical game as well. You're moving your physical body. So if that's not putting you closer to athletics, then I don't know what is.
Ben, what do you think?
Ben, what do you think?
VR esports, yes, I do think they're gonna be big. Do I think 2021 is the year they're gonna have their breakout? I don't know. I'm just not as convinced that the games that are coming out are the AAA titles that we need. We need Valorant VR. Like, I think that's the only way that it's gonna take off. So I think we'll have some beginnings, you know, like some early traction, but I just don't think it's gonna be the year that we see that explosion. But I will say, connected to that a trend I have identified as being big is physical esports. So some of the things in VR esports, but what's different is a physical esport being, let's say, you are on your exercise bike or your treadmill and you could be running and competing against other people. There are apps like Zwift, and there are already pretty sophisticated cycling tournaments where you're virtually competing. And I think this is like the get off your fat ass year, where like we've all sat on our couch and our desk playing traditional games, you know, keyboard, mouse, controller, whatever. And 2021 is that breakout year where it's like fat asses left, right, and center are gonna get a Peloton, a bike, a treadmill, whatever, and start to have physical esports where they'll compete virtually with other people. What do you think? Is this the year for that?
I think it could be the year for that. I think the technology needs to catch up a little bit, like 360 treadmills and things that some of these apps I think are moving towards. I think the smart technology needs to catch up, but I do think that it is something that has become sort of irreplaceable this year, the idea of virtual fitness. We wouldn't have fitness in most countries in the world without it. People have basically relied on sitting in front of a computer and doing their fitness that way. So to bring it in, utilize more of your equipment, make it more professional, using third-party apps, making it easier for people to understand, I think is only going to be a plus. But moving on from that, I think something that we have seen throughout the history of gaming is some toxicity in the community. And really, I think this is the year that's going to be addressed. We're not going to let that fly anymore. We're not going to let people put each other down. We're not going to have the negative toxic language going on in the tournament chat. It's just no longer going to be allowed. We've already seen most of the AAA games sort of starting to regulate their communities more and putting more accepting rhetoric, more accepting imagery, more accepting messages into their actual games so that they feel welcoming to all types of people. Those tournaments and that community is going to start welcoming all types of people as well, whether they like it or not. And I think we're already starting to see it happen over the pandemic. More and more people who are not your typical maybe gamer personality that people stereotype are getting into the community. So they're going to be there, and it's something that the moderators are going to have to deal with in 2021.
I totally agree that, you know, toxicity in gaming is a huge thing. It's the number one reason why I wouldn't let my kids play an online game, you know, with microphones, etc. I mean, my kids are 5. They're not FaZe Rowdy. But that's a whole other thing. Oh yeah, by the way, FaZe Rowdy did not make the team. he didn't win. So just to recap for our viewers who watch in a linear fashion, we talked about FaZe Rowdy. He did not make the FaZe Academy. But to the point, it's a huge issue. I'm torn though on the solution. I'm very against censorship. I don't believe we should be creating police states where we tell people you can say this and can't say this. If I want to say virgin, I say virgin. If I want to say simp, I should say simp. Like, what's the fine line between hate language and just like foul mouth, whatever? Like, is now Twitch is gonna say you can't say on stream, you can't do this, and I can't drink a beer. Like, I just think the more they keep policing it like that, the more people are just gonna say, I can't express myself and are gonna leave. So that's a challenge. I don't know how they're gonna be able to deal with the important issue of toxicity and abuse, in games without compromising the gaming experience. I definitely wanna build on that and take it to the total extreme. I think a trend for 2021 is social media disasters. Like, this is it. Like, this is totally gonna boil over. Wait, does boil over mean, yeah, it's a bad thing? Yeah, not boil over, yeah.
All the water's coming over.
Yeah, it's gonna boil over, okay? Like, this is it. We've already seen social media destroy so many players and teams and leagues and sponsors. And like, the cancel culture is just gonna carry in, it's just gonna be amplified. And what we're seeing with Twitter and censoring people and this person and that person and banning apps, it's such a divided culture now in social media. And even though the gaming community seems like more or less politically aligned, it really isn't. And I think this silent majority or very big minority are people are gonna just be fed up with all that and I just don't know where it's gonna go. So social media it's gonna ruin, I think, gaming and esports in 2021. It's too bad because it was fun for a while, but I just think this like big tech now is policing and everything. Even people on the other side are saying like, yeah, these social media networks have too much information, they know too much power, too much influence, and like the whole thing is gonna implode. Now I'm trying to be optimistic, but that's 2021.
I mean, I think there's no doubt about that. We've already seen the power social media has had even just into the early days of 2021. I mean, my parents are far too, like, they have no idea. They don't play any video games, but they know Cyberpunk was an epic failure because it's now become household information. Why? Because of social media. Like, people take not that game wasn't a failure in its own right. It had its own problems and whatever, but it was spread like wildfire so fast to people that shouldn't really care at all because they were never gonna buy it in the first place. Now they care because it's like everybody knows about this failure. So it will really make or break a company. If you are a young developer, like you're putting out a game and something like that happens to you, that's it for you. You're not gonna go any farther. You will not have a chance to make another game and redeem yourself. So it's a double-edged sword. Yes, like we should get angry at people when they do bad things online or in general, and we should say something. We have social platforms, so we should use them to stand up for our values, but we do have to be careful of, we have to understand the impact that has.
Yeah, I just want to reiterate my point because I've said this many times, but yeah, like the cancel culture is so ridiculous. It's now acceptable that like any allegation, regardless of how credible it is or where it comes from or whether they're revealing the source or not, it will destroy someone's life and someone's career. And like, that's it. We've all just accepted that this is a acceptable behavior. And you're right, I don't know. Like on one hand, for sure, like this is a great way to call out and exploit and social justice has made inroads by using social media to do that. But to what end? Like it's just any allegation. It's just like, that's it. This person is suspended, they're ruined, it's finished. And we're just gonna see more and more of that to the point that we're like, I think that's this disconnect with social media. So yeah, I'm bitter. I'm bitter and angry, and there's a good chance for 2021 I'm gonna leave some or all social networks.
Yeah, well, we can move on to a topic that will probably make you just as angry.
Make me happy. Yeah, oh, okay.
Just as angry, because I truly believe that, especially now that we're in the early days of 2021, for the foreseeable, next few months at least, the supply and demand for next-gen consoles is going to be a huge, huge hurdle for the industry to overcome, because we're in the pandemic, so manufacturing is not moving as fast, packaging, distribution is not moving as fast. Nothing at any level is moving like it used to. We can't even go into the stores and really line up outside like we used to for big console drops. We can't do that because we have to social distance and make sure it's being done safe. So it's all being done through pre-orders. It's become a huge giant mess. There's people making different colors of the PlayStation 5 who shouldn't be. It's just a whole situation. So this is going to be an issue. So if you're hoping to get a next-gen console, I wouldn't hold your breath because you might be dead by the time that you receive said console.
Should we show people that we have one here and
no, don't.
give our address?
We don't have it, no.
Yeah, for sure, it's the most sought after item right now. But I hope people are gonna be watching in 4 or 5 years because I wanna make this very bold prediction. This is it, the PlayStation 5 is the last PlayStation they'll ever make. The Xbox Series X is the last. This is it. I just don't see, in a console refresh cycle that is typically 4 or 5+ years, or sometimes even longer, I just don't see where it fits in. You have PC Master Race, which is continuing to be the gold standard for gaming. It doesn't seem to be slowing down. You have mobile that my device is like almost halfway there. I just don't see the middle ground. And with cloud computing and Stadia and other things coming in, the idea that you need a separate piece of hardware to stream gaming content into your living room, I think is done. So my prediction is, yeah, this is it. PlayStation's gonna make a load of money off PS5, but it will be the last.
Let's hope it's so, because this, I think, is the year where we're going to see PC gaming become more accessible and approachable for that casual gamer.
Master race.
But if you grew up on a console, it's a bit intimidating. I won't lie to you, because as a console kid, it was intimidating to make the switch to PC. But this is the year that I think we'll see that marketing switch from PC gaming companies to target that more casual gamer and that console gamer. And this is the year we'll see developers, I think, looking at, can we make my games on PC more enjoyable for console players? Like, can I add gamepad support? Can I make this tutorial a bit more intuitive for people who are new to PC? So
yeah, I think esports needs to get rid of console, or at the very least, like controller. The competitive integrity of games that are both hybrid, controller and keyboard are kind of ruined. Fortnite, any battle royale, any game, it's especially shooters, they're two separate games. And I think it's like creating so much issues in the scene. I think once we like weed out all the console players, it's not to say that PC players don't play controller, many of them do, but I think it's gonna encourage that keyboard mouse master race for shooter games, controllers for sports or whatever, and maybe preserves the competitive integrity. But all right, let me get into my last one. Not as controversial, but kind of ties into the physical esports, get off your fat ass, is I see esports orgs moving into sports. Like, yes, you're gonna sign a content creator that's great in Rainbow Six or Brawlhalla or whatever. I think they're gonna sign people that are great skateboarders, that are great basketball players, that are great snowboarders. And that the idea that a content creator, as we know it in the video game scene, is only gaming, I think is done. I think people wanna see that you're more than that. You're more than, who's your favorite streamer, as an example?
My favorite streamer is Nazy, but she is not, she doesn't do anything else that I know of. I think she is just a variety streamer.
How's it, Nazy?
It's Nasy, I think.
Okay, great example, Nazy. So what does Nazy play?
I think it's Nasys actually, but she plays a lot of VR games, so Beat Saber and things like that. So super physical, but she does mainly focus on her content as games.
So wouldn't you be interested to watch if she streamed herself playing tennis? Or if she was doing another sport?
See, personally, I don't think these communities intercept as much as you like to think they do. And I think that there's people who are well-rounded. They love the real sports and they love their video games. But for me, for the most part, the people that I know who are into esports and we like to play video games, we don't have as much of an interest in physical sports. To me, that sounds like, as soon as you said, wouldn't you want to see her play tennis? I was like, I would rather watch paint dry. than watch her play tennis.
I'm enlisting a second opinion. Okay, our producer Alex, who's your favorite streamer?
My favorite streamer, 5K Fast.
Oh God, what a suck
sweet.
up. Who's your real favorite streamer?
My real favorite streamer, honestly, somebody that I've been picking up and watching a lot of lately, Mutex.
Mutex. Okay, so Mutex, he is a great streamer. He usually streams Warzone. So would you be interested if, again, I'm not saying like the entire time, but if Mutex decided that he was gonna do a 2-hour stream of him skateboarding at a cool skate park, are you interested?
Yeah, 100%. I would love to see that.
Same, because like I'm interested, I'm so invested in the person. Like, who do I watch? I watch Doc. Okay, Dr. Disrespect, Champions Club. You know, like if firstly the Doc is like, I don't know, he's like 6'5", I don't know, he's a giant. So like, he's probably very athletic. So, you know, if he was playing basketball or something, I'd be so interested to see these guys. You know, it's not even about I understand now. It's not even about that. It's just day in, day out, you see them in their box, their stream box, and you don't see their life outside of that. And I guess where I'm going with that is, it doesn't have to be sports per se, but would you be interested in watching Nazy cook and do a dinner show? Or
Potentially, yeah, like doing other things.
Other
I think
things.
a better application for that, honestly, is bringing in mixed reality. So it's like maybe that person is a skateboarder and they're not a gamer, but they're maybe skateboarding in that virtual environment. Like they're physically skateboarding in the real world, but there's a virtual environment that we can see on that stream. Like kind of fusing those two things would be cool. I don't know if I just want to watch a gamer like make cupcakes, because I'm like, well, you're not a cupcake maker, so that's not what you do. So, I mean, I think there is a niche and I think there's room for that fun personal content, but it has a place and time, right?
I feel really bad that when I thought of like one example of Daisy outside of gaming, I said cooking. So I do apologize. There's nothing meant by that. It was just the first thing that came. I should have said metalworking. I didn't. So I just want to clarify that for the camera, for all the viewers out there. Not intentional.
The opposite of sports is the kitchen.
Is cooking.
So
What else is there? Sports, you eat, you compete.
you
That's
sleep,
it.
and that's it.
So that's why I came to that. Okay, but that's my prediction. Esports, sports, I think they're gonna be signing golfers and skateboarders and whatever, and we're gonna see that whole world work. But again, smaller picture, just get the hell out of the stream booth. I wanna see what like Nick Merckx can do, you know, on the basketball court. I just wanna see them in real life. So that is all. Those are our trends and predictions for 2021. I'm Ben Feferman.
I'm Rachel.
And this is Esports Unfiltered. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, ring that bell, and good night, San Antonio.